I live in a village called Castlefin. Life's not very exciting about it altogether. But our nearest claim to fame would be Ballindrait is another village about 4 miles from us. And that is, a lot of people find this hard to believe, that is where Michael Gorbachev's forebears came from Ballindrait in the county of Donegal. Because, in case you don't know this, Gorbachev, the name Gorbachev is not a name at all, it's a nickname. And in Ireland we're great for nicknames. Going back to the reign of Queen Victoria many years ago, she came to Ireland at least once anyway, and she came to various areas around, I think it was around the famine period, but she came to Dublin, she came down to the Great Northern to Strabane, and she got the Donegal line out there and got off in Ballindrait, and she was walking about for a wee walk around. Now at that time there were 2 old brothers there, they're the name of Lafferty, because that would be Michael Gorbachev's proper name, he should be Lafferty. But history does things like this to people. The 2 old brothers anyway, there were 2 Lafferty brothers, but they called them the Gorbachevs. And the reason for that was they're two bachelors. They weren't shoemakers, but they repaired shoes, if you know what I mean. They fixed shoes. There's a name for their trade. They fixed shoes. Anyway, the 2 boys lived there in Ballindrait together, and as I say, there were 2 bachelors, and they were very nosy kind of characters. And they had this, they used this word themselves, because wee boy be going to school in the morning with his school bag over his shoulder, and the brother be standing at the door, and he'd say, "Gorbachev a great head of hair." Some fellow would come in to get a shoe repaired or fixed to get a heel on it, and he would say to him, and he'd been getting them fixed for the boy down the road up to that, and he'd say to him, will you put heels on them for me, and I'll pay you on Saturday. And he'd say, "Gorbachev a hard neck on." There's Gorbachev this and Gorbachev that, so they called them the Gorbachevs. That's how they became the Gorbachev. So to make a long story short, what happened was, I was telling you about the reign of Queen Victoria. She came over to Ballindrait anyway, and she was doing a wee walk around there. Now, any of you would be familiar with the Donegal roads. They're potholed now, but if you go back to about 1845, you can guess what they're like around Ballindrait at that time. So the Queen in her wee dainty high heels, she was walking around, and she went over on her shoe in a pothole and broke the heel off one of her shoes. And there was great consternation. Her lady in waiting and the whole retinue were gathered round, and there was a great consternation what they would do to get the Queen back to the carriage to get her to the station again. So somebody says, "Why don't you take our shoe down to one of the Gorbachevs and he'll fix the heel of it?" So they did that anyway. The shoe was down and back to her in half an hour, getting the heel as dainty as you like. No problem. Away she went, and that's all was heard, until about a month later there came a letter from Buckingham Palace thanking the 2 brothers for the lovely job they'd done on the Queen's shoe, and she was delighted about it. The result was that they went to the 2 boys' heads a wee bit. They got a wee bit big-headed about it. So they put a big notice up on the gable, or as we would say on that part of the world, the gavel. They put a big notice up on the gavel, and they said, "Lafferty brothers, cobblers to the Queen." So they got had to flee the country. And they finished up somewhere on the steppes of Russia. That's how Gorbachev came about.